on SuperTalk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such an amazing place to live, work, and play. Like we always do this time of year, we're watching the tropics, and the best thing to say to you is always stay prepared. Always stay prepared. Hey, I've got a quote from a friend. I don't know who actually said this, but this is a really good one. It says this: "When you are wrong, admit it. When you are right, be quiet." And then Patty Steele, one of our co-workers at SuperTalk Mississippi Media, posted this: "Patience is when you're supposed to get mad, but you choose to understand." I think that is a terrific one to words to live by, for sure. Now let's move over and introduce our friend Bill Lavers, who's the Executive Director for the Harrison County Development Commission and a regular on the show. He's got a couple of guests with him, but let me just first say good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. We'll catch up on sort of the latest happening at the Harrison County Development Commission in the second half, but he actually has a couple of guests with us, Colton and Mark. Why don't you introduce those to us real quick, Bill?
So Mark Sauerbutts in the black shirt is the plant manager for Metadine here on Seaway Road, and we're joining you via Zoom or Skype on this live remote. So, no offense to the studio, but it's kind of fun to be out in a business.
It is.
Now we also have Colton Bruni, who's about to be a senior at Gulfport High School. So they have a great story that you heard about on the Gallows show. So we're bringing them live to you to tell you their side of the story and celebrate these people on the coast, which is what your show's all about.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. So you want to start with Mark and let Mark sort of set it up?
Yep, and you're going to have to wind him down because he gets going. So just,
He's good. He's good. Well, good morning, Mark. Tell us about it.
Behind. So here we go. Go ahead, Mark. Tell them what Metadine does, what you do, and how you found Colton.
Sure. So Metadine's kind of a quiet business on Seaway in Gulfport. We've been around in various names at this site since 1985 or 6. And it's always been similar manufacturing, tungsten carbide out of the powdered metal process. And the other companies that have brought us up to this position have always made wear materials and downhole drilling equipment and things that need to be really tough, drill through rock and drill aluminum and titanium and do those things. And Metadine actually bought the facility after Katrina and refurbished it and rebuilt it, and we're staffing up now. We're at 23 people, and we have millions of dollars worth of hardware spirited away behind a fence, and nobody knows what we do.
So, Mark, who are your primary customers?
So our customer base ranges from the military through the oil patch people. We sell overseas, so we export out of Gulfport to New Zealand, Peru, Chile, Australia, all over North America, and we ship daily. We ship by UPS, FedEx, and ocean freight and air freight.
Goodness gracious! I have a sense of this because recently I added a component to one of my trailers, and just as a layman drilling through steel, I gained a great appreciation for what it must be like to drill through some of these even harder materials that you have. I mean, to gain a specialty in that. What kind of equipment do you use to do stuff like that?
So we manufacture, our raw material starts out as what looks like black baby powder, and we form it in presses, and then we fire it in a big furnace, and it goes to about 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's water cooled, so you can stand right beside it, and it converts that material that was shaped into a rough shape, not unlike something like this, and it shrinks about 20%. And because of the heat and the chemicals that we make the product out of, it becomes really hard. And the only thing that will touch it now is a diamond. So
wow.
You have to form it or do any work on it after it's been through our initial phase of the project. You have to do it with a diamond.
Wow, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. So introduce Colton. What's the relationship between you guys and Colton?
So Bill and the Harrison County Development Corporation are working with us on trying to find local talent. We're a technical business, but we do a lot of on-the-job training. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade in petrochemical and nuclear, and I've been in this business since 1987. And I've ventured out of it and did automotive in England and some other things, and 3D printing out of MIT, but ventured back into it and moved from Boston to Mississippi. And I have a lot of contacts in Boston and California where I worked. And those are technical centers. And I needed technical people in Mississippi, in southern Mississippi. And I reached out to Bill and Brandy, and they hooked me up with Gulfport High School, technical staff and the teaching system at Gulfport High. And I toured Gulfport High at their excellent facilities. I mean, I've been in, Massachusetts schools.
All right, let me interrupt you for a second. So he went on offense the 2 days after we introduced him to the high school and talked to 29 kids. Colton was one of the kids in the room, and the teacher in the back of the room kept saying, Colton, 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 the more Mark was talking. So Colton came on a field trip because Mark would have taken up all Colton's time. And Colton's been here, what, 2 weeks?
No.
2 weeks?
3 weeks?
No, 4 weeks now.
4 weeks now.
He's been here 4 weeks.
And he's fixed stuff. Tell that part. Colton, you tell him what you fixed.
So the first day I came in, and what I really enjoyed about what Mark told me the first day and on the tour and what I saw was that there's a lot of stuff, a lot of room for me to grow. So there's anything ranging from programming, electrical, mechanical work that I could do here. And that's what I've been doing for 4 weeks. I mean, the first day I came in to work and I was working on a computer trying to fix some software issue they had. But then the next day I was on electrical on an old machine that he had that we had to get running. And the next day I was operating the machine. And now I'm working on a project for him for automating one of the processes that the workers here do for the presses, because we have too many machines that aren't being manned right now. So we're currently working on making a machine to automate the process.
And you're a what?
I'm a junior going to senior.
In high school?
Yeah, so he's a rising senior whose birthday is next week. Turns 17.
So Colton, what's interesting though, when I've had the superintendent of schools for Gulfport, Glenn East, on the show, and then again, Dr. Mary Graham from Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, and learn about the innovations that are taking place in the areas of job skills development and all of that, it's really incredible. The fact that they recognize that not everybody's going to go to a four-year university. They may still go to a four-year university, but we should provide opportunities for them to develop skills really young in their lives so they can begin to understand where they want to go. That process has really impacted you, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. Definitely. Because not only has it given me a more applicable, more practical use of my knowledge and shown me how to apply knowledge I learned, but also it gave me a lot of understanding of how to talk to people and working with other people in a more industrial and business environment, not just a robotics team or STEM class at school. So it's a very
there's no question. Collaboration, the ability to collaborate and communicate. The kind of work that you would be doing if you choose to go in that direction is all about solving problems, whether it might be through code or taking a machine apart, whatever it might be. But it's about collaborating with the team to find the best and quickest and most affordable solution. So the ability to communicate with other people is a really key to success. You know that at a young age. How do you know that?
Well, I guess it stems from being immersed in a lot of programs that involve me being with a team, whether that's in sports or on a robotics team, or sometimes certain classes we have big projects. Like my engineering class, we're currently working on a SWAT bot, and so I have to work with a bunch of people, work with a mechanical lead, and I as a software lead have to communicate what I can do, what they need to do to allow for this. So there's a lot of communication already that I've been immersed in life. And this just helps.
Hey, when you talk to, so Mark, coming back to you, when you think about, the whole issue of collaboration, he talked about his engineering class, et cetera. You would think we were talking to a senior at Mississippi State University in the engineering program, not someone who just completed their junior year in high school. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And that's what, when Colton came in, I promised him that we would throw him right in the thick of it and not treat him like a rising senior. We're going to treat you just like you've been here 10 years and give him the same responsibilities and the same guidance and the collaboration between us.
The beauty of it is when you have programs that are designed to find people like Colton's not alone. There are others just like him. And that's the key. You want to find them and bring them in. Listen, we're out of time, but Mark and Colton, it's been a pleasure to get to know you. Congratulations, Colton. And in fact, I would love to touch base with you again in maybe 6 months or so, just to see how things are going and just to have a conversation with you. So it's been a pleasure. And Bill, when we come back, we'll continue our conversation about the latest at the Development Commission. We'll see you after this break.
Coast Vue on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
The streets of downtown Gulfport will be lined with food trucks this Saturday for Ugly Tie Fest. Finally, a festival for Dad. Ice-cold beer, great live music all day, classic motorcycles, and delicious food truck food. So come hungry and ready to have some fun. Bring your dad and the whole family to Ugly Tie Fest in downtown Gulfport, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Admission is free.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. Look, if you're a regular listener to Coast View, you know this. that I love to find those magic moments. I never know when they're going to happen. So when Bill Lavers, the executive director for the Harrison County Development Commission, said he wanted me to meet Colton and Mark, after some allusion, they alluded to them on the Gallo show here on SuperTalk. I had no idea that it was going to turn into what it did. This great connection of high school, community college, Harris County Development Commission, and real life business to find someone like Colton Bruni, who can. It's such an articulate young man, but this is the way it is now. We're not waiting to get out of high school anymore to sort of find yourself. There are amazing efforts underway during high school to give people an opportunity to develop skills, to do incredible things that would really kind of set the stage for what they're going to do when they get out of high school. Some may go into job skill development. Some may go to a 4-year university. Some may do both, but you just never know. And Bill, I appreciate you helping to sort of bring that moment to fruition. I really enjoyed it. Colton is a really sharp young man, isn't he?
He is, and the key ingredient of that is really the teacher too. Because when Mark took the risk to go to the high school and go on a tour, the more Mark talked, the teachers said, "Hey, you got to talk to our kids." So they cobbled up about 20 kids and put them in a room and just turned Mark loose. And the whole time, the robotics coach, I can't remember his name, I can see his face, he was saying, he was in the back of the room with me going, "That's Colton, that's Colton, that's Colton," and then you saw Colton. So the rest of that story is Mark hadn't had that machine run in like months. Colton fixed it in 2 days. And he was fixing the machine that was on the table in that room. I had to leave so they could go back to fixing that laser that was on the table. And he's having fun. He's making some money, and he's solving puzzles. But he's not the only kid. We have Peyton that was in my office for 2 years. We were sitting at USM talking about the things they're doing in the blue economy, and they had these job descriptions. And I looked at Brandy and I said, "That's Peyton." Well, they hired Peyton. Peyton's first day at USM was this week. So he doubled his pay, because I don't pay very much at the Development Commission because it's a trial, but he's a student at USM and he's working at USM. And those are the kinds of connections. We can't wait. You said it. We can't wait until you get out of high school and figure out what you want to do. If you're Colton and you like doing this, Mark needs your help. And so do a lot of other businesses. And so we spend a lot of time working with the teachers, because we don't know Colton until today, and then we work with the teachers to find Colton, and then we go find Mark, and then we hope that we connect those dots. And we're also trying to combat brain drain. So Colton knows in this nondescript metal building that he's driven by his whole life and didn't know what was going on in there, he's got a friend inside named Mark, who's going to help him do his thesis to get into MIT, because that's where he wants to go to school, because Mark came from there. So it's all.
Yeah, I know. And what's the beauty of that is that what you're showing him at a young age is not only that there's a path forward for him in the area that he wants to work in, maybe even some other areas that he didn't know he wanted to work in, but now he knows he wants to work in. He goes away to MIT. He knows he has an opportunity to come back. That's the key, man. You got to find. You don't want to just build bridges away. You want to build bridges coming back. If you think about the innovative companies along the Seaway, you think about what's happening with Chevron, and you think about, of course, Ingalls and all the ancillary businesses that are attached to that. You think about what's happening over at Stennis Space Center. We are surrounded by some of the most innovative companies in the world. And young men like Colton, who is sort of leaning in this direction, there are so many opportunities for them to make their mark and not have to ultimately. They may leave to get an education, but not. They'll have an incredible opportunity to come back, and that's the goal, isn't it?
And everybody's looking for good people.
Yeah.
They don't know where they go to school. So our job, I think our primary job in economic development, is to make those collisions happen, so that when a company comes to town, we have a pipeline of people that you can plug into. They're already programmed to do whatever that is. And, Colton and Peyton and Rachel and Jacoby and Samanji. I mean, Samanji was driving a skid steer yesterday. He's never driven a skid steer in his life, and he was putting in some pipe with my utility guys. He just graduated from high school a couple of weeks ago. The more we put them in the seat, the better they perform. And it's a really cool thing to watch. And I think that's our number one focus in economic development, is making these matchups for the workforce. So before we run out of time, I want to talk about my cool stuff too.
One other quick point before we go any further. When Mark, as a plant manager, had this goal in mind, he came to you guys. So what is it that you did that established that you would be a good intermediary on this issue?
Well, originally Mark got a grant from MDA, and if he was basically to get a fence, and Brandy did that in 2015, and he had to hire so many people or he had to pay a penalty. Well, yesterday he had enough people finally hired with our help. We've helped him find about 5 people in the last 30 days. I didn't know Mark until about 6 weeks ago, and he is like I said, you have to slow him down. He's an on fire kind of guy. And I love people like that. You want to help those people. So it's a relationship that Brandy started, and we just, he said, I need people. I said, let's go to the high school. That's where the people are. And the more we think about, we've got to bring somebody in. No, they're already here. Peyton was here. They were sitting in that meeting talking about bringing people from California to fill those blue economy jobs. And I was like, he's here. He's here. He's already going to school with you. You don't know it. So we got to do that more.
So give me an update. What's going on with you in your world these days?
How much time do we have? We've got a 50-acre parcel next to my office that's under contract. It's the largest sale in the history of the organization, and it's hard for me to whine about money with that coming. But anyway, it'll be approved this morning, hopefully at the Board of Supervisors. The railroad, my locomotive, I wish that I was on the locomotive doing this Zoom call with you. Maybe we can do that next month. But the locomotive will either be delivered today or tomorrow. And so the Seaway lead will be back active with rail. And that's another training opportunity for students to learn how to get into the railroad business on a train that never leaves town and doesn't go more than 10 miles an hour. So there's another training opportunity there. And then there's this little rumor about this little gas station called Buc-ee's. So we're heavily involved in that. That'll also be approved this morning at the Board of Supervisors. We're doing a resolution to upgrade the interchange at Minge Avenue to allow for Mississippi's first Buc-ee's to come to town. And all these deals, by the time we're actually able to walk in and buy some corn nuggets, it's going to be way old news, but it takes a lot of work, and then there's still a lot of work to do along the way. But those are 3 of the largest projects I've ever done in my career, and they're all happening simultaneously. So, and then we got base hits and bunts. We got little things happening all over the place as well. So it's game on, full time. Let's go. I make fun. I've got Lori's on vacation, and I was like, okay, we're canceling vacations. We're not doing that anymore. We don't believe in those. And she's my CFO. So, if we're past due on a payment for about a week, it's because Lori's on vacation. It's her fault, So, but we're having a blast. It's a great time. I think, just like I really get inspired by these stories like you witnessed this morning. That is not even a month old, and we've just got to keep doing that every day, all day long, and pushing Mississippi to where we deserve to be. Really, I mean, nobody said Gulfport can't do this. Nobody said Colton can't do that. Nobody said, Mark, you can't go down to the high school and try to find somebody to fit your job requirement. Everybody just goes all in, and we make it happen.
So when you and I started talking at the beginning of the pandemic, one of the keys was the phone was still ringing, even during the pandemic. What are you experiencing these days in terms of activity and interest?
Activity and interest has probably slowed down a little bit, but that's okay because we've got these other, we planted the seeds to get these huge deals. I mean, the deals that we're working on, those 3 deals together are over $80 million and probably 1,000 jobs. we haven't done $80 million and 1,000 jobs in Harrison County, Mississippi in a long, long time. So it's kind of good, but we're still getting, I like the small business. I consider Mark a small business. He has 25 employees. He needs 40. That's where I like to spend my time. But these other big deals are important, and there's a lot of complex things that go into pulling off these big deals that, again, I stress I've got a great commission. I've got a great team on my commission. Shorty Sneed is one of the main people that wanted to bring the railroad back to Gulfport, and this week it's happening. And I've also got a great team back at the office that helps me get things done. So, and
I know you do.
Help me get the word, of all the success that we're having and the good times we're having in Gulfport and Harrison.
I had the benefit of watching Shorty in his play last weekend. He is an amazing actor, and
Yep.
Last of the Red Hot Lovers was just a terrific play. I really enjoyed that immensely, but he's so talented. He's such a consummate community leader. We're out of time, Bill, but it's been great to catch up with you. Thanks so much for introducing us to Colton and Mark and creating another really cool moment on Coast Vue. And we look forward to checking in with you the next time. By the way, congratulations to you and the commission and on those successes. That's incredible. Really, really great job, and we look forward to more to come.
Thank you, and we'll join you trackside on the train next time on Coast Vue.
We will see you then. Okay, buddy. Take care.
Listen live on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
The streets of downtown Gulfport will be lined with food trucks this Saturday for Ugly Tie Fest. Finally, a festival for Dad. Ice-cold beer, great live music all day, classic motorcycles, and delicious food truck food. So come hungry and ready to have some fun. Bring your dad and the whole family to Ugly Tie Fest in downtown Gulfport, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Admission is free.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and, all this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show
on SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on Supertalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. Well, I tell you what, I really enjoyed that conversation with Bill Lavers and our special guests, Mark and Colton. Now, to hear from Colton, this junior in high school, to see him having this opportunity to fully explore what he wants to do in his life and to really take advantage of what is clearly a technical aptitude and a goal to go off to MIT, hopefully come back to Mississippi. Programs like this can keep us from having brain drain. That's so important, so important. Speaking of kids and speaking of giving kids the opportunities to achieve their dreams in life, I am so pleased to be joined now by Drake Bassett, who's the president and CEO of Palmer Home for Children. And let me just first say good morning, Drake. How are you doing?
Good morning, Ricky. Great to see you again.
It's good to see you too. Listen, the last time that you and I talked, I shared a couple of quotes that I think are really kind of a good foundation for the conversation that we're going to have. But what I pointed out is that most parents today reflect constantly about what they can do better. They understand that their greatest legacy in their lives is really their children. And I shared this quote that said, behind every young child who believes in himself is a parent who believed first. And I went on to say that, what happens when there's not a parent present in a child's life? What happens then? And I shared this other quote from Brooke Randolph that said, children without families are the most vulnerable people in the world. You and I went off on a conversation. We should sort of remind people about that today, which is why Palmer House for Children is part of the solution, that there are so many vulnerable kids really around the world, especially here in Mississippi. Talk about the tragedy of that.
Yeah. It is, of course, a reality. We're not going to be able to snap our fingers and see this statistic of it's a national statistic that seems to stay in place of about 400,000 children. And every year, of course, we come into new contact with new stories and new children. But that common denominator that you describe is inside of each of these children, where there is some question about their value. And where we get that value for most of us, and not every situation, but it comes from family. We each have, however it all came about, we each have one mother and we have one father. And even if I bring in lots of great people around a child, whether a foster couple or the staff that we have at Palmer Home or any of that, there is a place inside each of us, I'm convinced, that says I have a father and I have a mother, and the degree to which that relationship is strong, or the degree to which that relationship is strained or absent altogether, seems to have a pretty big impact on whether or not a child feels like they're important, that they're valuable. And when you have those things, when you do feel important and you do feel valuable, you actually feel confident and capable about doing things. But if you don't have that sense of importance and you don't quite know whether or not you're really valuable to somebody, and of course there are many things that can throw that off. If I've been separated from my family, if I've been placed somewhere and I'm scratching my head at night going, hey, what's wrong with me that I couldn't be a part of the picture? Well, that starts to affect this sense of, well, am I no good? And if I'm no good, we start to create self-doubt, insecurity, and now I can't accomplish things. I'm not sure if I can accomplish things. And so what you see sometimes are, interestingly enough, you see confident, cocky kids, but they're not cocky at all. They're really not that confident at all. That's their cover. That's their shield to protect them from any further receiving damage to the inside. And so there's bravado from boys, there's attitude sometimes from girls, but Palmer Home over time has been able to work with children, realizing that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to protect themselves. But we know underneath, they're looking for what you described. They're looking for love. They're looking for value. They're looking to be connected. And if we can do those things, hey, we might be able to open up the door to all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, the words that come to mind are hope and dreams, unleashing the opportunity for a kid to feel hope and have dreams and not have a scenario where they feel despair, because in an atmosphere of despair within their own minds and their own souls is no hope and no opportunity to dream. And you've seen so many successes over the years. You've seen failures over the years, but you have a sense of what is possible and why it takes a Palmer House, an organization like Palmer House, to intervene where it can, when it has the funds to do so, to create an opportunity for kids to have hope and have dreams. I mean, did I say that well?
I think so. To me, every child that comes to Palmer Home, whatever the circumstance, by court order or a family that's struggling and chooses to place a child with us, and that's a grandparent that's stepping in, or any number. In my mind, as soon as they walk through that door, they have come into an environment that understands the importance of trauma and the trauma that has affected their life, and it affects them in so many different ways. So we understand that's important. We also know that everybody really wants to feel safe. That's such an important piece of working with vulnerable children. We naturally do it. Our bodies send off a lot of signals. We do it all the time, right? We don't even realize how many ways that we protect ourselves, but we sense if we're getting close to something hot. We sense if we're getting close to, stepping out in the street at the wrong time. Our body's just constantly checking, are we safe? Are we safe? Are we safe? Well, vulnerable children not only are doing those things that we take for granted, they're also looking around the room. They're wondering, am I safe? Because these are folks or people or a situation I don't know. So Palmer Home understands all of that's at play when a child walks through the door. And if we can slowly go to work to put the things in place that create a sense of safety, a sense of value, and a sense of, hey, maybe I can do this, then all of a sudden we start talking with them. And I'll be glad to tell you about a project that we've been doing for several years with Mississippi State. It's called Leader State. And this year it's been called Thrive. It's different things, but we have these children come into an environment for a week and they work on their plan for their life. What do I want to be? Where can I go? And I heard some of the best presentations a week ago where these children had taken the time and they want to be teachers. They want to be attorneys. They want a child advocate attorney. One young lady wants to be. Another one wants to go into the military and fly. And they've thought this through. And the only reason they feel like they have the potential to do this is because they feel valued and because they feel loved and they feel supported. That's what Palmer Home can bring.
It's incredible. So where does your funding come from?
It comes from so many different places. Businesses that I think want to give back. Businesses that are led by people who realize that it's a dynamic, it's a partnership between, the public and business. and the kind of programs where we're coaching kids and creating opportunities. Hey, we're creating future employees. We're creating future customers, but businesses that really understand it's important to do that. Churches, of course, that lean into mission and think about contributing from a church standpoint, or just being a member in a church and saying, this is important to me, I'm going to go home and write my own check. Individuals across the state and outside the state, we're in nearly all 50 states with donors, people who've made their way to Mississippi at some time or another. Those are our primary sources of income. We don't take federal funding. We're not partnered with the feds or with the state in any major way from a funding standpoint. We work with those people to solve the problem, but our funding comes from people who are just generous in their heart. So businesses and churches and individuals are our primary source.
Yeah, I tell you, we talked a little bit about this last year, but it's just worthy of repeating again. But one of the reasons that I joined SuperTalk Mississippi Media was because I was very impressed and touched by Steve Davenport, who owns SuperTalk Mississippi Media, and Kim Dillon, who's the president, touched by their incredible commitment to community. One of the things that they talked to me about when we formed Coast Vue was they wanted a show that was going to be incredibly local, and certainly talked about state issues as well, but that is positive, that is focused on finding and improving this community, and to celebrate people who are making a difference. And in your work, you get a chance every day to see people around you who are unbelievably committed to making a difference, don't you?
I really do. That's a blessing in this work. It's a privilege. Was in business for a long time. I think we talked about, we come from, some of the same space, and you get a chance to connect with great people. Watching great people perform in this space, well, the returns are just multiple, because you realize that it really takes a lot of fortitude. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of being able to roll with the challenges of some of the things that these children are facing. And so there's a deep commitment on their part, just like you see inside of Steve and Kim. You see that deep commitment because it's not going to be easy, but you're willing to do the hard work that's necessary to create positive change. So I do get to see some incredible people give of their lives. They could be doing a lot of other things other places, but they choose to come here and work. And I always say that people don't come to Palmer Home by accident. You come here for a reason. And I really believe that. You bring your gifts, you bring your abilities, you bring your commitment, and you lean into these lives that need positive influences. They need people who are going to be reliable. They don't need to have a situation where they can't even trust the people around them. We want to create a restorative environment, and that means great people.
Well, look, this commitment from Steve and Kim that I mentioned, and their long association with you and the Palmer Home, is something I want to talk more about when we come back, about this collaborative effort across the state to raise money for Palmer Home. When we come back, we'll talk more about that. We'll see you after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever, with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Del Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera flips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
The streets of downtown Gulfport will be lined with food trucks this Saturday for Ugly Tie Fest. Finally, a festival for Dad. Ice-cold beer, great live music all day, classic motorcycles, and delicious food truck food. So come hungry and ready to have some fun. Bring your dad and the whole family to Ugly Tie Fest in downtown Gulfport, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Admission is free.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. We're having a visit with Drake Bassett, and Drake is a terrific leader. He's really focused on helping kids find hope and dreams in their lives through the Palmer Home for Children. And, we were mentioning just a few minutes ago about Steve Davenport, the owner of SuperTalk Mississippi Media, and Kim Dillon, the president, and Palmer Home, this long association that two of you have had. What's really neat about their commitment is that when you own 26 radio stations across the state, and 12 of which in very strategic locations are part of the SuperTalk network, when they decide to put their energy behind something like the Palmer Home, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I've enjoyed my conversations with both of them. It's fun to be at the table with them and to see them get excited. They really want to make a difference. And they're experienced executives in the way that experienced executives don't like to mess around. They want to make good decisions that have impact. And I enjoy that because I feel the same way. And when we partner up together, and I think that's why it's been such a good partnership. They want to do good. We want to do good. They have the opportunity for influence. And so they gift us, and they gift they're gifting these children the message that goes across all these networks. And so for 9 years now, we've been doing this radiothon, and it has had incredible impact.
So this year's is July the 15th. I mean, it's amazing that a year went by so rapidly. Last year, I think it was like July 23rd, July 15th of this year.
Yeah.
Time flies, doesn't it? And you've been operating in a pandemic, and my gosh, what a challenging last year it must have been for you guys.
I think just like everybody, we had to make some, tough calls. We had to make some adjustments. We participated in, healthy processes, quarantine process. And And we were just listening and learning. And you know, we kind of joked internally that this was the year of pivot. And then it shifted. We literally pivoted to more of a hustle mentality. I mean, it's just work to be done, because even though the pandemic, you know, kicked in, that didn't change the fact that, in fact, in some situations, it increased the need for Palmer Home, because as family situations become complicated, the economy creates pressure. Guess what? You know, that's where all of a sudden we're needed. And so we did see children come to us right through the middle of all that. And so quarantining appropriately and making sure that we're doing all the right things. It's been a great year, though. It's moved fast. And so our work doesn't stop. But we are excited to see some of that get behind us and you know, head into this radiothon upcoming pretty soon.
So let's talk about the mechanics of what's going to happen on July the 15th. It's literally a radiothon. So tell me about what you're looking for out of this.
Well, it's great because I remember the very first year when some of the team showed up to do the shows, and Paul and others, you know, and they just didn't quite know what it was. But now when you hear them talk about it, they've done this for so many years. There's just a deep affinity between the two organizations, and it is such a partnership. But the best part, I think, is that throughout the day, while we are certainly looking to raise money, I think it's just as much about awareness, letting people know, hey, for 125 years, this organization has been serving the children of Mississippi, and we've actually been serving children all across the country who come to Palmer Home in Mississippi. But we tell those stories. You get to hear from people who are connected with the organization in different ways. And I think all day long, you get the opportunity, if you've never heard of us, to find out whether or not this is something you want to get behind. And sure enough, by the end of the day, a lot of people vote with their checkbook, they vote with their heart, they vote with their prayers, they reach out to us. We've had children referred to us because of Radiothon by people who didn't even know we existed. That, to me, is great, great impact. And so it's not just about raising money. It's about raising awareness and letting people know, hey, we're here to help. And that day tends to produce some great conversations that just wouldn't have happened if we hadn't had all of this reach all day long by way of the networks.
So remind us where the Palmer Home is located.
Sure. So we have representatives across the state that serve in different ways, but our campus work is in Hernando, Mississippi, just near South Haven and south of Memphis. So we actually serve children, of course, in Mississippi, and we bump right into Memphis, and we work with people in Memphis. And, you know, for 125 years, our core original campus was in Columbus, Mississippi, but we had an opportunity with land and other things like that to have more space, to do some interesting things. So we consolidated our campus work on the Hernando location. That's where it will take place. SuperTalk will take place that day.
That is terrific. That is terrific. I'm always touched to see these efforts. Too often, I hate to say this, but too often, a kid struggle, especially those who don't have families for whatever reason. You sort of laid out a wide range of reasons why they would find themselves in a situation where they would need your help. But too often, those are sort of out of sight, out of mind. I hate to say it, but it's true. And sometimes it's hard for people to focus on the difficulties that they're having. One of the beauties of the radiothon that's going to happen on July the 15th is the opportunity for all of us to not for a second, not let it be out of sight, out of mind. For just a second, let it focus on this incredible need, and then open your heart, your soul to wherever God takes you and what you should do as a result of that. But it's been a pleasure to catch up with you, Drake. Good luck on the telethon. Good luck on all your efforts to make a difference in kids' lives. We really appreciate what you're doing.
Hey, I appreciate the relationship. I know your heart's in this too, and I know you're excited for us. And so, again, we thank you for that. And together, we'll make as much impact as we can with children who really need it. So thank you.
I know you will. I know you will. Anyway, thank you very much, and have a great day.
All right, you too.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.